It's Friday, it's live, and it's casual. Those three things are the most important things that you need to know about today. Welcome to Savannah Performance Project's episode 3 of our community show. This is where we reach out to our local community, members of our local community, and talk about things that are communal. I don't think that's what I meant. But anyway, welcome. If you're watching, please let me know. I know that there's at least one of you. So that one, post a comment. Tell me who you are. Ask me a question about my general surroundings, if you like. What's that music on the piano? I don't know. I don't play. So, oh, and there's a hat behind me. That's always nice. I just noticed that. Welcome, hat. He's always welcome, that hat. And I think it's a he. Guys, if you are just joining us for the first time, thank you for joining us for the first time. Continue to join us. And if you like what you see, please, let's try this for the first time. Subscribe on the YouTubes. And I will post a link to the YouTubes in just 3 shakes of a lamb's tail. Do people still shake lamb's tail? I don't know. Maybe they do. Yes. Thank you, Savannah Repertory Theater, for joining in today. I appreciate you in so many ways. I feel blessed to know the Savannah Repertory Theater because they are an amazing community organization here in the locale of Savannah, Georgia, and they're doing a great job. Keep doing it. We enjoy you. Today on the show, I have an individual who I met way back when I first started doing shows with the Savannah Repertory Theater. She was managing in a way that show, and right now she is, what was it? It was, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? That's it. And I had the pleasure of playing Monsignor something. I can't remember the name. It's lost to me. And someone will remind me. I'm sure someone who's watching now will remind me of that part from Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. But I remember her greatly because she always had a smile on her face. And she was always good with a word of advice for me the first time that I was on stage with those excellent professional people at Savannah Repertory Theater. Ladies and gentlemen, Kristina, how are you? Let me unmute your mic so you can actually talk. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. I'm going live from White Whale, so there's that. So if after the interview anybody wants to come and see us, we're down here. I'll give you a beer.
I'm coming. I'm coming right after. I'm ready right now. I'm wearing my pajama bottoms, as it were.
I'm always in leggings, so it's basically pajamas.
Yeah, comfy pants. Savannah Repertory Theater says, "Yay, Kristina!" And I happen to know that is not just Savannah Repertory Theater, but it is either one of two people, and they're both really awesome people.
Yeah.
So let's talk about White Whale Craft Ales. Did I say that right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So how long have they been around, and what was the reason why they came to be?
So with White Whale, they have been here for about 4 years, and I came into the picture about a year ago. I'm actually coming up on my year tenure here, and so
congratulations.
Thank you. Why White Whale is here? Well, it's to naturally fill a gap in craft beer. There was a huge boom, of course, but there wasn't, as I think my owner would put it, there wasn't his particular flair on it. And so that's kind of what it is. We are the place that you can find the weirdest and the craziest stuff. So if you've got a weird taste, I will figure it out, and we will basically psychoanalyze you. Be like, are you sure that's what you want? Or did you mean this? And then that's usually what happens. And then we give them the thing, and they like the thing, and then they buy the thing, and they take it home, and then they come back with friends. So it's just a meeting place. It looks like your dad's garage, truly. And the whole point of it is for people to come in, hang out, just have a beer. And there's no muss, no fuss about it. We're not really snobby about it. If you don't like that, if you don't like a particular beer, we're like, no worries, let's find something else that you might like. Because the point is to literally just hang out. Thursday nights are our big night here, where we have all the locals come in. They take over this huge table that we've got. Safely distanced and all of that right now, and they just all talk and like talk crap about each other. Like it's just real fun. So yeah,
that's awesome. I've been in there a couple of times. I was there, I think it must have been like 2 years ago. There was a block party with White Whale, and then right next door, which I believe they're still open, which is the comic book store.
Yeah, they bring comics. I go in there almost way too much.
Cool. What's your favorite series?
Right
or genre,
now?
I should say. Yeah.
Ooh, so I'm a horror junkie, and so I know that might be a little off kilter for a little bit, but I grew up reading a lot of Stephen King, and that's why my humor is a little a little dark sometimes. But no, so the Sandman series was something that I really adored. And then and then right now there's this wonderful series called Monstrous that's got some of the most gorgeous artwork I've ever seen in a comic book, and I'm waiting on the 6th book, but they're dragon feet, but I'm like, it's okay, I love you, so I'll wait. But let's see, right now,
I gotta stop you. You said you're waiting on their 5th series?
6th. It's the 6th book, so it's a graphic novel.
The 6th book. And you said, and they're dragon feet. And I thought you meant that there was a monster in this that was just dragon feet. I think that would be amazing.
If you read the series, it wouldn't be that far off.
Yeah. That's cool.
And then, and right now I'm going through the entire Alan Moore anthology of Swamp Thing. So yeah.
Yeah. I was a huge Swamp Thing fan back in the day, and this is like when originally it came out. The Alan Moore series came out. I was a huge fan. That ages me a little bit, but what in the world is going on? You people who aren't watching, start watching. That's better. We went down to 0 for some reason. I don't know why. It could be my bandwidth, but that's okay. They can watch in the rebroadcast. It's perfect. It's all good. It's all good. So yeah, comic books. These are 2 of my favorite things in the world. Comic books, which I don't buy anymore because honestly, you have to spend a lot of money to get a whole compendium of a series, and yeah, I just can't do that anymore. I'm still a huge comic book nerd. And I do have some behind me here that are some old John Byrne classics. John Byrne was an amazing illustrator back in the day. He focused on Fantastic Four primarily, but he did some X-Men. And this is an unknown series called, well, I don't know if it's unknown. It's called Next Men. And it's a very interesting series. Yeah.
So it's new to me.
Yeah, I'll maybe show it off sometime. But it's huge comic book nerd, and I admit that now. And also a huge beer. I would say connoisseur. I enjoy delicious beer. Pabst Blue Ribbon, 100% of the time. It's the most amazing thing in the world. No, that's not true. I like a good stout. I like a good lager. I like a good IPA. I like a good Pilsner. All those things are magical to me. And I like flavors. Man, I love flavors in beer. So what, for me, let's psychoanalyze me for a minute. And let's figure out what I want. So yeah, I'm walking in, I'm looking around. I see some amazing labels. That draws me first off. The artwork on a can is key.
Right.
So if I was to walk into your place and miss something that I really should look at, like if the artwork just was terrible, but it's a really, really good, let's say, flavored IPA, what would I go for?
That's hard to. So Heist Brewing. This is no shade to Heist at all because I really love them. They're out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I am not the biggest fan of their packaging. It can look a little dated at times, but their beer is fantastic. They do something with they'll label it maybe as a juicy IPA, but they take extra special care to make sure that that juice factor comes from your hop characters more often than actual added juices or peels or anything like that. And so what that creates is a cleaner palate. And so when you're drinking it, it doesn't linger as much. And so you can actually drink other stuff, or you can continue to drink it and your palate doesn't get overwhelmed. And so one of my favorites from them is called Ancient Feelings. It's a little bit more on the floral side than I would say juicy side, but it's one of my favorites. It's almost like, I explain it like this: when they get it right, or when any brewery gets it right, tasting a beer that has got all of their hop floral qualities balanced is like drinking mountain water versus regular filtered water. It's one of this gorgeous kind of subtle sweetness, kind of the smell that you get from it. It's the balance of alkalinity and minerality and all of that stuff. That is way too much information, but that is my answer. So Heist Brewing.
Yeah, awesome. Heist Brewing. So I'm going to make a slight change, which I think will affect us in such a good way, and that is to switch my current wireless network. We will drop out for just a second, but we'll be right back. So bear with us, folks. We're coming right back. Frozen for Kristina. I know that. I know that for sure.
I'm the only one that's being seen right now.
I'm back. Okay, good. Yeah, so amazing. This is a great palate cleanser beer from, give me the name again. Heist, not Hearst. Hearst is something.
No, not Hearst.
Okay, good.
And a Hearst
right,
is something entirely else.
Yeah, so these are two steps to a great weekend. The first one is to get a copy of the Monstrous series. Is that correct?
Yes, get a copy of the Monstrous series. Start at 1, obviously, but
and then we're going to get a bottle of Heinz ketchup. No, that's not right. Hare's Peaches. No, that's not right. What is it?
Heist Brewing.
Heist Brewing. Thank you, Heist Brewing. And then third, let's talk about theater for a minute. Yeah. None's going on, so there's not much we can do this weekend, other than there are a couple of shows going on, which I could allude to. But I want to talk about your company that has existed since 2019.
Literally, yes. Yeah, 2019.
So tell me about Flock Drown.
Yeah, it's fun to say.
Yeah.
So in all honesty, it doesn't work that different from the way that we do things over at Savannah Repertory Theater. Like, you have essentially a project, which is a play, and then you've got to fill roles in that play, and then obviously like also tech and all the other things that come into management. And then you do the play, and then it ends, and then you've got a break period, and then you do another project or another play. The difference lies with us is that I don't just work with actors or just dancers. My whole goal is to work with people across mediums, because the whole point is to push the language in which we use and also use to express our individual mediums. Most artists are not just one thing. I'm sure that we all have different creative expressions, and the wonderful part that happens when we do a project, for example, for Neighborhood Comics, I did do a live installation where we did an entire piece that was based on the Sandman series, and I worked with a sequential artist to make that up. And so we actually took the paneling and then created text to like go off of that would give us our tableaus. And so it's something that's more it's in the moment. It's tedious process of like creating something from scratch and collaboratively, but you have something concrete that you can look at. So the whole goal is to have artists that, I don't care what you do, you could be a furniture designer, and I'm like, cool, let's do an installation piece and figure out how we can filter that through the different lenses. And it meets people where they're at, because if I'm going to be completely and utterly honest, I don't think that our community has a whole bunch of dance knowledge yet. And I would love to meet people where they're at. where they're drinking, where they're eating, and do something along the lines of like performance installation that doesn't necessarily interrupt their day, but starts to become a part of their day. So they start to have a little bit more of a toolkit about, oh, I don't have to just like, there's not a monolith of like information that they're staring at anymore. Like you take something that people already know and you just filter it a little bit down, abstract it a tiny bit, but they still have the main pieces, and they go, oh, that's an interesting way of putting that. And so the way that you do that is that you work with multiple other people. So that's kind of the whole point of Flocked Around, is just to push the language and create new language that we use with our mediums.
I love that. Wow.
Yeah.
And the thing that you touched on is, and I think it is an important point, is that our community doesn't have a huge dance knowledge. As a whole, our community, I would say that there are companies in town that do dance to different degrees. Certainly, you always have the local raising the ballerina up to teenager, and then she moves on. Of course, we got a lot of those. Yeah, a lot of recital work. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But there is some very good artistic, cultural. I'm thinking of the Albany. Is that correct? The Albany Cultural Group. I think that's their name.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they're doing some interesting stuff, but it's only one company, so it doesn't spread out over the whole community. So I totally get what you're saying. That's great that you're doing that, or trying to do that at least, and getting out there, and because you do have a full-time job as well, so as do I.
Yep.
So let me ask, you say you work with other individuals. Now you bring in people that do different things, different art, different processes. Do you also bring in different dancers? I mean, is it like a team of dancers, or is it, okay, cool, very cool.
So
do you have yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I'm so sorry. So it goes, it goes a little, it's case by case. For one, it goes by budget, because I pay for it. So, and I also pay people, especially if they're dancers, you're essentially giving me your body to work with for a certain amount of time. And speaking as someone who has worked, in a way that I have injured myself, and then it was something that I was doing voluntarily, it feels really bad, because there's no kind of, there's nothing to fall back on, and you feel like you've given all of this, basically yourself. And so there's a very intimate processing, much like acting, when you're on stage, and then when you're also rehearsing, that you have to kind of give yourself over to, and that deserves to be rewarded with pay. So because of that, I have a roster of people that I pick from quite often, and I just kind of call on them for different projects or what have you. So for example, right now I'm working with Jordan Hurd. She is a PTA student, which is a physical therapy assistant student, which is
I am actually well aware of that. Yes.
Which is
my wife
fantastic.
is APT. Yes.
Oh, that's so cool. I would love to go to OTA school, because I like the finer motor functions, and that would be really cool. But in any case, so I work with her, but she's also a dancer. She did the same thing that I did. We came up in the similar culture of recital culture and then competition culture. And then we danced professionally outside of that. When we got older, got a little disillusioned with the industry of just like, we're not being taken care of. That's bad. And then kind of like walked it back a little bit to see where we could sort of keep doing what we adore, but in a safe and like sustainable way. So that's kind of what it is. But she and I are working on our project that's going to go up in Starland Yard on the 14th. So yeah.
Nice. And this is coming up next weekend on Sunday, if I'm remembering Valentine's Day right. I hope I am. Yeah, so it is centered around a Valentine's Day theme at Starland as well, correct?
It's prom night.
Ah.
Yeah. So we have chosen sort of this early 2000s throwback of powder blues and like full black, long skirts, all of that from our competition days of what we remember wearing in those competitions. And then the whole piece is it's called The Love That You Give and What It Takes. And while that's not necessary for you to know, you essentially see a relationship kind of happening. And whether it be friendly or romantic or what have you, it has the opportunity for people to sort of imbue their own experiences onto it. It's incredibly simple. But for us, it's a bit of a love letter to our dance life, how we grew up, all the tropes that we experienced, and then the way that we're sort of flipping those on our on the head, like, and just trying to just have fun with it, and just like, I don't know. And it's also inviting people, because it will be a dance floor, we'll be dancing on that, and then it'll invite other people to come out later. So we basically start that for them. It's really, really cool. But just like a little teaser of like, here's some stuff we can do.
Yeah. Nice. So it's a kind of an impromptu prom night / invite to flash mob sort of style, maybe ish.
Yeah. Why not?
Okay, cool. Why not? Why not? Absolutely.
Let's
bring the flash mob back, in small doses. Physically distanced, of course, masked and all that, but mask flash.
Mask flash, I like that.
Mask flash. Hashtag mask flash. It's happening right now. It's
gonna happen.
Taking over Twitter. Yep. So you got involved with Savannah Repertory Theater. I know it had to be prior to 2018, because is that when I did? Yes, I believe so. Right?
I think it's actually 17, because my first show was your first show.
Oh, okay. Gosh.
Yep.
Wow. I had no
Guess
idea.
who's coming to dinner?
So long.
Yeah.
Almost 4 years ago. Yeah, it'll be 4 years in the fall. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, what an experience. I so enjoyed getting to know everybody involved in that show. And how did you come about learning about Savannah Repertory Theater?
Oh, so it's really funny. One reason why I also know a whole bunch about beer is because I used to work at now the distillery downtown, which is the old craft beer bar, and people used to go there late night. And so
I love that place.
I know. They had all the taps.
Yeah.
So, but Jennifer Bishop, had just like moved into town, or at least recently had, and it's Ryan McBishop.
Yeah.
So she had just kind of like, so we had just met because she got a job there, and then I remember I had to train her. And it was really silly, because she's like, yeah, I already know. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to let you do you, and then we'll talk. And so we started to become friends while we were servers. And then I started like just talking to her about, what else do you do? Because it's the question you ask in Savannah when you look at someone who does their job, and you're like, you do something else, I'm sure, because we all do. And then we slowly, but also not so slowly, just got to the thing of like, I have my own I have my own theater that I work on and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. What? I do this. I was like, I do this. And then I literally unashamedly just like shoved my phone at her, and it was like, look at what I can do. Because look, you graduate art school and you got to go. So I had just recently graduated, and she's like, oh, that's cool. And then that was kind of it. And so she started to bring me in, and I started in the box office, and she's like, look, I can't give you a dance thing, but like, we can get you into theater. Like, I need things done. And I was like, I don't care. Just give me a task and I'll do it. And so it was box office for a while. And then I started assisting her as a stage manager and became a part of her brain. And then I became her sanity in some ways. Yeah. And then I started stage managing, working backstage, and getting used to all of that. And then I ran lights for Pump Boys and Dinettes. And I'm like, space bar. Space. So it was very much a like, I met someone, we connected, we worked well together, and then she was kind enough to give me opportunities to fail and then also shine in, and I've learned so much, and I'm still learning, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And then now they were very gracious to give me not only like through all of the things that I've learned. When we can come back, I'll be a company manager. Which is
wow. Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah. And they are working on some things. I saw the recent announcement of the combined task with, I believe it's a theater in New York, but I can't remember who it is. Who?
It's in Queens. It's in Queens.
It's in Queens. Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. I'll put a link somewhere around here.
Yeah.
I've
It's
actually,
on their latest.
yeah, and I've shared it on the Savannah Performance Project page as well,
Yeah.
congratulating them. But yeah, that's exciting stuff. That I would say that the downside of all of this, of course, is that there's this huge virus, right? And people are dying.
Yeah.
People are getting sick.
Yeah.
And that's sad. That's awful. But also with that, with adversity, with adversity comes invention and recreation. And I think Savannah Repertory Theater has proved that they are able to come back and do different things inventively. So I think this is going to be an exciting time for us in the next year as far as theater goes, and they're going to be doing some exciting stuff. And please, if you don't already support the Savannah Repertory Theater, go to SavannahRepertoryTheater.com. Did I say that right? Is it org or com? I don't know.
It's org. It's org.
It's org. SavannahRepertoryTheater.org. And that's an RE on the end of theater. And look to ways in which you can help support them. They are a great, great organization locally, and they need your help, as do all performance venues and groups. So please. Actors Fund. There's the Actors Fund out there. Put money in there if you want to. That's great too. That's my spiel for today about giving back. But Kristina, I cannot wait to get down there and grab my Edmund's Oast, which you showed me earlier. Show me that again. No, you didn't? Okay, don't show it. Don't show it. Oh, there it is right there. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. She just happened to have it right there.
Isn't just right there. It's just right there. It was fine. Just it's a problem. It's fine.
Edmund's Oast is a brewery in Charleston, South Carolina. And I used to go there whenever I could go to my other office and be able to help them out. I can't right now, but and enjoy some Edmund's Oast when I came back. And I'd have it on my passenger seat, just this crate of Edmund's Oast, and it would slide off and get shaken, but it's okay.
It's all good.
Yeah. I can't wait to come down there. And next weekend on a Sunday, what time is this going to start?
So the entire event starts at 2, but we go up, meaning myself and Jordan. We perform at 5, and I'll be available afterwards. It's only 4.5 minutes. It's just something like pop up. We go down. It's all good. And then I'll be around. You can come and talk to me. You can ask me questions. I don't care what kind of questions they are. It's like, what is dance? I'll be like, look, let's have this esoteric conversation. We can do this. We can talk about how dance is truly culture, that it's more language. It's not this crazy monolith. I do not expect your leg to go 180 degrees. Mine doesn't anymore either. So it's, and just, we'll also have like you can make donations if you would like, and just remember that any sort of donation that you give us goes directly to paying people, goes just directly to paying for projects and the people that help put them up. So, which is basically me, and then and whomever I've hired to subcontract out and who dance for me, and they always come first. So yeah,
that's awesome. I'm so glad you're doing that for our dance community. And folks, if you don't know about Flock Drown,
yeah,
I said that right. Flock/Drown.
Yeah, Flock/Drown, but you just say Flock Drown, and that's when I say to people, they're like, "What did you say?" I'm like, Flock Drown. They're like, "Oh," I'm like, "Yeah, there's an image thing, imagery." Nice.
So we're talking about imagery. We're talking about the name. Where did it come from?
My brain.
Excellent.
I don't know. I have a specific love for a lot of theater of the absurd, and there was something very. It's two sides to one coin. It's up and it's down. It feels like momentum is going up and then down. So if for whatever reason, there's an image that I often like in a lot of different horror novels or comics or literature. It's the idea of that. This sounds terrifying. You see that big wide shot? This is very terrifying. Ignore that.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about names. We're talking about words. We're talking about esoteric. We're talking about all the things that matter to you and yours. And I'm going to let Kristina finish her thought.
Sorry, we're live at White Whale. Things just
Yeah.
So in any case, the way that it came to be is if you think about that really big wide shot of a single person in the ocean, okay, and they're falling down very slowly, and it's just this lovely. You see the way that the light hits the surface, and it gets a little bit darker ever so often, and then it's one of those things where I love the idea of physically seeing the thing that I am saying. And that's kind of what dance is all about, is essentially abstracting text or any image into this sort of like expression that's ephemeral and not always there. So, yeah.
Excellent. So Kristina has now left no, she's still here. So I will admit, so I will admit that White Whale Craft Ales is currently, their door is closed and there's a sign that says, I'll be back in 30 minutes. So with that 30 minutes, I'm going to give that back to you so you can actually run a business. Thank you so much for joining us today on the community show. Kristina, if you can get out there to Starland this weekend to see Kristina on Sunday and see her perform with Jordan, and actually enjoy some dance of yourself as well as a lovely night on this Valentine's Day weekend, please do. And again, Kristina, thanks for joining me today. I we'll leave it with this. I do a thing at the end of every show. It's called Sitcom Freeze. So at this moment, we're just going to do a classic Seinfeld moment. Let's do that. We've just met the soup Nazi for the first time. And he's telling us no soup for you. I'm let's see. I'm Jerry. You're Elaine. 3, 2, 1. Sitcom freeze.